Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a book, right? So powerful, so vital that it actually took the personal approval of the Soviet premier himself.
Yeah, Khrushchev.
Exactly, for it to even see the light of day. A story that back in 1962 didn't just, rattle the foundations of the Soviet Union, but really sent shockwaves across the globe.
Absolutely. A huge moment.
So today, we're embarking on a deep dive into Alexander Solzhenitsyn's groundbreaking novel, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. We've gathered some excerpts, key pieces that paint this unforgettable, really stark picture of just a single day.
One single day.
In a Soviet labor camp.
Right.
And it's all seen entirely through the unblinking eyes of one man.
Zhukov.
Our mission today is to pull out the critical insights from these pages, basically giving you a shortcut to understanding this pivotal work and, I think, the profound human truths it reveals.
And what's truly fascinating here, beyond the story itself, is just the sheer audacity of its publication.
Right. How did that even happen?
Well, Premier Khrushchev, he personally read it, uncensored it himself, overriding a committee that was sharply divided about it. So this wasn't just like a book release. It was a carefully coordinated political campaign almost.
A campaign.
Yeah. Soviet literature, the journal, immediately translated it into English. Moscow News serialized it. And major newspapers like Izvestia just showered it with praise.
So official encouragement.
Exactly. This official endorsement, this political courage, it really speaks volumes about the climate of the time. It was a calculated risk during that brief thaw, And it underscores the book's immense perceived importance in, shaping the public's understanding of this incredibly painful hidden past.
And what's remarkable, too, is that this wasn't some, avant-garde literary experiment.
Not at all.
Its form and style were pretty conventional, actually, deeply rooted in that 19th century Russian tradition of the social protest novel. You can see a direct line to Dostoevsky.
Definitely.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Solzhenitsyn's language is just so direct, powerful, almost brutally honest.
Unflinching.
Critics compared him to a young Dostoevsky, especially notes from Underground.
Right, that raw perspective.
For his ability to convey this unique impression of his world entirely through the eyes and thoughts of one single character.
And with Ivan Denisovich Zhukov, Solzhenitsyn presents this unadorned, starkly disturbing, yet somehow meticulously detailed picture of life. Life in a Russian concentration camp.
It's really a testament to the power of just one authentic perspective.
Indeed. So our mission today really is to trace this one day.
Just the one.
From that brutal clang of reveille right through to the relative quiet of lights out, all through Zhukov's eyes.
We'll explore not just what happened, but maybe more importantly, why it mattered.
Exactly. Connecting his micro-struggles, these tiny battles for survival and dignity, to the broader human experience. How do you maintain yourself in the face of absolute dehumanization?
Yeah.
And you'll find some surprising facts, I think, about the intricate camp economy. Some aha moments revealing the psychology of survival.
Yeah.
And hopefully, a shortcut to truly understanding this pivotal and, frankly, enduring work.
It's a journey, then, into the heart of human endurance and maybe those subtle acts of resistance that define it. Okay, let's plunge right in. That single frozen day, the reveille, it hits you immediately.
Yeah.
Not some gentle alarm clock, but this brutal clang of a hammer on a rail. 5 a.m.
5 in the morning. Dark.
And you can barely hear it through the windows because the frost is 2 fingers thick.
Incredible detail.
Outside, it's a bone-chilling 17 degrees below 0 Celsius. That's about, 0 Fahrenheit?
Around there, yeah. Bitterly cold.
And even the camp guard, which tells you something, he's reluctant to keep beating the reveille for too long.
Even he feels it.
The darkness is just absolute, broken only by the dim yellow glow of 3 lamps. It's just this sensory assault that perfectly sets the tone for Zhukov's entire day.
And this immediate immersion into the sensory experience is absolutely critical, I think.
I feel it.
You feel the cold, the oppressive darkness, the rigid, inescapable routine. But Zhukov's first act, never oversleeping.
Right.
That immediately establishes a core principle of his survival. He claims those 90 minutes before assembly as his own.
His time.
His time. And this isn't just about avoiding punishment. It's a profound act of psychological resistance, carving out a sliver of autonomy, of personal time in a world designed to strip it all away.
It's the first hint we get of his sort of ingenious inner resilience.
Definitely.
Because those precious 90 minutes, they are masterclass in survival.
He's not resting.
No. Zhukov isn't sleeping. He's earning. He's sewing mittens, delivering Valenki, those knee-length felt boots.
Essential gear.
To the rich loafers, as he calls them. Sweeping the mess hall floor, hoping for scraps. Every single minute is a calculated hustle for some tiny advantage.
Resourceful.
But today, it's different. He feels feverish, aches all over, and he just desperately wants morning not to come. He's so sick he actually hides in his bunk, just hoping to bypass the whole brutal day.
And this immediately highlights that intricate camp economy you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
This shadow system of favors, small trades, earned comforts operating just beneath the official brutal surface. It's also where we learn that harsh law of the taiga from the old-timer Kuzyomin.
What was that again?
The ones that don't make it are those who lick other men's leftovers.
Oof.
Those who count on the doctors to pull them through, and those who squeal on their buddies.
A brutal code.
It is. And Zhukov embodies those first two tenets perfectly. He knows survival hinges on self-reliance, not charity, not the unreliable mercy of the system.
Right.
And this insight becomes a central theme, really, of his entire day.
And that third tenet Kuzyomin mentioned, about the squealers.
Yeah.
Well, Zhukov learns pretty quickly that was actually wrong. Those guys do get through.
By selling others out.
By saving their own skin at the expense of others' blood. It's a stark truth you learn fast in there. So today, Zhukov's sickness nearly leads to this really dangerous encounter with the Tartar, a guard. He thinks he's heading for the dreaded guardhouse.
The cells.
But then, a twist. The guardroom floor needs scrubbing.
Yeah.
And this isn't punishment, it's a reprieve. He's actually delighted, promising never to be late again. He even manages to slip away to the well for water, barehanded in that biting cold.
This whole sequence is just a masterful demonstration of Zhukov's quick thinking.
Yeah.
His profound adaptability.
Yeah, he turns it around.
His immediate relief at having to scrub a floor, a job normally saved for an infirm staff orderly. It vividly underscores the brutal hierarchy within the camp and that constant, desperate search for any small advantage.
It completely redefines what a good day means, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and it raises that important question. What does it do to the human spirit when a good day can mean cleaning a latrine or scrubbing a floor? It suggests that even the most mundane, demeaning tasks can become these profound victories against dehumanization.
And that redefinition of value, it extends to the almost absurd. Like, take the thermometer incident.
Oh, right.
SWAT leaders gather around, eagerly watching a former hero of the Soviet Union climb this pole to wipe off the thermometer.
A hero of the Soviet Union wiping a thermometer.
The shouted reading, minus 17.5 degrees Celsius. Conveniently, not minus 41
His
degrees.
magic number.
The temperature that would actually prevent work. And the line, do you think they'd ever hang one up that gave the true temperature?
Oof. The cynicism.
The cynicism in that question is just palpable. It exposes the constant manipulation of their reality.
Yeah.
Even the weather is a lie.
Exactly. In the gulag, even the weather forecast was, well, a tool of the state. You can almost picture a dedicated ministry of optimal temperatures making sure productivity targets were met, regardless of frostbite.
Right.
This deliberate falsification just highlights the systemic deceit. And we also get that poignant glimpse into the material conditions through Zhukov's boots.
All the boots, yeah.
He recounts this whole history of footwear. Rope sandals first, then cheeses made from old motor tires.
Resourceful again.
Then finally, a cherished pair of good leather boots. But the camp rules dictated. No two pairs of footwear allowed.
Petty.
So he had to choose. And parting with his new, carefully greased leather boots was one of the hardest things he'd done in 8 years in the camp. He just knows he'll never see them again once they're tossed into the common heap.
And this isn't just about shoes, is it? It's about the constant, petty humiliations, meticulously designed to strip prisoners of everything personal, any shred of individuality, any comfort.
Full control.
Yet Zhukov somehow finds these small victories, these subtle moments of defiance. Remember during the scrubbing, a guard shouts at him about using too much water? Zhukov has got gaps in his teeth from scurvy back in 43. He just smiles, this ingenuous smile, and says, I was taken away from my wife in 41, Citizen Chief. I've forgotten what she was like. It's just a brilliant, understated moment of cunning, isn't it? And survival, knowing how to provide just enough eyewash, as he calls it.
Yeah, just enough to get by.
Enough to get by and avoid harsher punishment. He knows exactly how to navigate this absurd, brutal world. #tag breakfast and dispensary dreams. So after his stroke of luck cleaning the guard room,
His good fortune.
yeah, his good fortune, Shukov dashes to the mess hall, dodging guards on the way. Inside, it's thick as a Turkish bath, he says. Steam from the stew meeting these icy drafts from the door.
The contrast.
Just a maelstrom of men, trays, shouting. He notices a West Ukrainian crossing himself before eating.
The newcomer sign.
Yeah, a clear sign he's new because, as the narrator says, Russians had forgotten which hand to cross themselves with. They eat with their hats on, picking these putrid little fish from black cabbage soup, spitting the bones right on the table, which are later just swept onto the floor.
The mess hall is just this chilling microcosm of camp life, isn't it?
Oh.
Brutal, chaotic, yet governed by its own unwritten, harsh rules. You mentioned Fedikov, the one Shukov contemptuously calls the jackal.
Yeah, he's there.
He's there guarding Shukov's breakfast, which is just a testament to the pervasive threat of theft. Everything is a battle.
Everything.
And those vivid details, like the spit-covered tables, the trampled fish bones on the floor, they just convey the complete, utter lack of basic human dignity. Food isn't pleasure here. It's purely a strategic act of survival, a constant battle for meager calories in this endless struggle against starvation.
But beyond that communal chaos, we see Shukov's almost spiritual relationship with his own food.
Right, his own portions.
Through his most prized possession, his spoon.
The spoon, yes.
It's not just a utensil for him, it's practically a little baby, he thinks. Hand-cast from aluminum wire, and he even embossed it with Ust Isma in 1944.
Wow. A marker of time, of place.
And he eats slowly, concentrating on every single bite. The narrator points out, apart from sleep, the only time a prisoner lives for himself is 10 minutes in the morning at breakfast, 5 minutes over dinner, and 5 at supper.
Those precious minutes.
This isn't just about satisfying hunger. It's like the sacred pause and the relentless dehumanization of it all.
And the contrast between Shukov's memory of old village eating habits, whole pots full of potatoes, pans of oatmeal, big chunks of meat.
Abundance.
And the camp reality is just so stark. In camp, you eat with all your mind on the food, nibbling, working crumbs into a paste, savoring every tiny particle of flesh from the fish bones.
Total focus.
This intense attention, this meticulous focus on every single scrap, it's a profound statement about the value of life, the value of resources, in extreme scarcity. It forces us, the reader, to confront that poignant question. What would you consider a luxury? What would you cherish in such desperate circumstances?
It completely redefines luxury, yeah.
Entirely.
So feeling ill after breakfast, Shukov decides on this detour to the dispensary.
A gamble.
Yeah. It's described as starkly clean, white, quiet, almost alien in the context of the camp. A momentary escape, maybe?
A different world.
He encounters Kolya Vidomushkin, this young literature student who's somehow become a medical assistant.
Right. The ironies of the camp system.
Shukov, a bit shamefaced, reports feeling rotten, but then he admits nothing really aches. It's not a genuine medical complaint, is it? It's more like this desperate plea for a temporary escape from the brutal workday, just a brief reprieve of rest.
And this scene just reveals the cynical realities of camp healthcare. Kolya, despite his background in literature, he's now an unwitting part of the system.
He has to be.
He has to be.
Yeah.
The doctor, Stepan Grigorich, this fussy, loud-voiced fellow, he just dismisses genuine suffering with the belief that work was a first-rate medicine for any illness.
Unbelievable.
There's no genuine care there, only the pragmatic goal of keeping bodies working, however inefficiently they might be. Shukov dreams of 3 weeks in bed.
Just 3 weeks.
A luxury so unimaginable in his reality that it borders on the fantastical. His temperature, they take it, it's 99.2 Fahrenheit, neither one thing nor the other, as Kolya says.
Not sick enough.
Too low to be exempt from work. So Kolya advises him, basically, go to work or risk the guardhouse.
Yeah. The cells again.
And then comes that piercing thought, the one that really cuts to the core of empathy, of understanding, especially between those inside and outside the camp.
Which is?
How can you expect a man who's warm to understand a man who's cold?
Wow. Yeah. It's a universal truth, isn't it? But made just agonizingly real in this context. It's about that chasm between experiences, that lack of shared reality. It's so simple, but so profound. #tag morning roll call and march to work.
So Back in the barracks after the dispensary disappointment,
Yeah, no luck there.
Shukov meticulously receives his bread ration from Pavlo, the deputy squad leader. He checks it with these practiced eyes for short weight, knowing, as the narrator tells us, that honest weight was never to be found in the bread cutting.
Always cheated.
Always cheated.
Sure.
He then performs this almost ritualistic act of survival, hiding half his portion in a secret pocket he'd sewn into his jacket, and another piece deep inside his mattress. This constant vigilance against theft, against hunger, against the system itself, it just defines his entire existence.
Every moment.
This hiding of food, tools, any little personal item, it powerfully underscores that pervasive threat of confiscation and theft.
It's a permanent state of alertness you have to live in. Interestingly, though, his neighbor, Alyosha,
The Baptist.
yeah, the Baptist, he offers the striking contrast, doesn't he, to this constant physical struggle. He's just quietly reading from a hand-copied New Testament,
Finding sustenance elsewhere.
seeking spiritual sustenance amidst all the physical deprivation. Then the prisoners, they bundle up in multiple layers, rope belts replacing the forbidden leather ones,
Can't have anything decent.
and they truddy out into the dark, bitter cold for the morning roll call. The escort chief recites the chilling morning prayer, as they call it.
The rules?
Strict orders, no talking, hands behind your backs. A step to right or left is considered an attempt to escape. And the escort has orders to shoot without warning.
Just like that. Shoot without warning.
It's a stark, chilling reminder of their precarious, utterly controlled existence every single second.
And the description of the column moving as though at a funeral? That's incredibly powerful imagery.
Like ghosts.
Individual identities are just subsumed into this collective numbered mass. Even their thoughts, Solzhenitsyn says, are not free. They constantly return to the same basic immediate concerns of survival.
What kind of thoughts?
Things like, would they feel that piece of bread in the mattress? Would he have any luck at the dispensary that evening? Would they put Buinovsky in the cells?
Just the immediate worries.
It's a testament to the human mind's capacity, I suppose, to focus on immediate, tangible concerns when faced with such overwhelming oppression. And amidst these thoughts, Shukov's mind drifts to letters home.
Ah, connection to the outside.
He sent his last one back in July, got an answer in October. But he observes that writing now was like dropping stones in some deep, bottomless pool. They drop, they sink, but there is no answer. What a poignant, heartbreaking metaphor for profound isolation. Hopelessness, almost.
They finally arrive at the worksite, this sprawling, unfinished power station, shrouded in the morning's red and hazy sunrise.
A bleak landscape.
And Alyosha the Baptist, surprisingly, he looks happy gazing at the rising sun. Shukov just wonders how he can be.
Right.
Living on meager rations, earning nothing extra, spending his Sundays praying. This contrast, it sets up a core question about finding purpose, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Where do you find meaning?
For Shukov, though, his squad leader, Tyrin, is everything. He says, a good one will give you a second life, a bad one will put you in your coffin.
High stakes.
Tyrin knows the camp ways through and through, and Shukov respects him implicitly for that.
And Tyrin's role as a squad leader is absolutely pivotal in this system. He's not just a supervisor, he's a protector. He's a shrewd negotiator.
He has to be.
His job, essentially, is to grease palms at the planning department, to falsify the work reports, to turn jobs that were rated low into ones that were rated high.
Ah, working the system.
All to secure better rations for his men. The camp, in turn, gets thousands of extra rubles from the building organization for this fake progress, which enables higher bonuses to its guard lieutenants, such as to Volkovoy for using his whip.
So the corruption goes all the way up.
It's systemic corruption. A brutal, intricate system where at the bottom, the Zeks might get an extra 6 ounces of bread for your supper.
6 ounces.
And this just demonstrates how a couple of ounces of bread can literally rule your entire life. It's a chilling commentary on the value placed on human existence and the sheer depth of the system's depravity.
Okay, so they enter the worksite, and the moment they're in, the prisoners just scatter like birds.
Looking for anything useful.
Each one searching for precious scraps of firewood. Tyrin immediately sends men off to get tools, shovel snow. Shukov and Kilgas, who are the squad's lead workers, they're masons.
The skilled ones.
They get tasked with boarding up the 3 big windows of the machine room, which isn't really official work, it's for survival.
Creating shelter.
Exactly. Creating a warming up spot, a place to mix mortar later. It's an act of defiance against the elements, really. And Kilgas, who gets 2 parcels a month, so he's a bit better off.
Has connections, resources.
He knows exactly where to scrounge a roll of roofing felt he'd cleverly hidden earlier.
This constant, almost desperate negotiation for resources, even stealing from the camp itself, it's just a fundamental aspect of their daily life.
Got what you gotta do.
And Zhukov's hidden trowel, remember, meticulously retrieved from that crack in the wall. It symbolizes those personal tools, those skills that become invaluable in a world where nothing is truly yours.
His own little secret weapon.
They even sacrifice structural elements, the handrails from the ramp, just for laths to tack the felt onto the windows. The unspoken mantra among the prisoners is crystal clear. Either you all got a bit extra or you all croaked.
Wow.
It's a stark illustration of that collective survival instinct where these minor acts of pilfering, of scrounging, become necessary acts of engineering, really.
So around the rudimentary stove, they eventually managed to get going. We see the squad's diverse characters kind of huddling together.
Yeah, the group dynamic.
There are the 2 Estonians, inseparable, lean and fair. Fetyukov, the jackal, breaking up cigarette butts. He's fished from spittoons.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently disclaimed by his own family back home. Captain Bunovsky, the former Navy commander, still barking orders, protesting indignities, clinging to his past authority.
Can't let go.
And then there's Senka, deaf from a wartime injury, a survivor of Buchenwald, no less.
Seen it all.
And he preaches submission. Better to growl and submit. If you were stubborn, they broke you. What does this stark contrast in coping mechanisms tell us about the human spirit under that kind of extreme pressure?
That's a vital question, isn't it?
Yeah.
These vivid portraits, they provide this cross-section of Soviet society, all tragically trapped together.
All walks of life.
Exactly. And each character illustrates these diverse responses to systemic oppression. You've got Alyosha's quiet prayer, Bunovsky's fading pride, Fetyukov's desperate scrounging, and Senka's grim acceptance.
Different strategies.
And that tragic detail about Fetyukov's family disclaiming him, it highlights the broader societal impact of the gulag. It extended far beyond the camp walls, severing even the most fundamental family ties. The core lesson here, I think, is that while some people break, others adapt in deeply individual ways. Some cling fiercely to their past identity. Others seem to shed it completely just to survive the present.
During the brief dinner break, Tyrin, the squad leader, he shares this rare personal story.
Opens up a bit.
Yeah. He recounts being thrown out of the army back in the 1930s just for being a kulak's son.
A dangerous label.
A chilling label that could doom an entire family. He describes this perilous journey home, relying on strangers, and eventually entrusting his younger brother to some workers, just strangers on a train platform.
An act of desperation.
It speaks volumes about the breakdown of family units under that state pressure and the constant arbitrary political purges. How does a history of such, well, arbitrary injustice shape his leadership now, and even the dynamics within the squad itself?
That's a vital question. Tyrin's own victimhood, I think, informs his protective yet very pragmatic approach. He's a wolf, as Zhukov calls him, precisely because he learned how to navigate that brutal system from the inside.
He knows the game.
He knows the game. His later encounter in the story with his former squadron commander, who's also a prisoner now.
Oh, wow.
And the news that the regimental commander and the commissar were both shot back in 1937, it just reveals the arbitrary and all-consuming nature of Stalin's purges.
No one was safe.
No one. And his cynical prayer, so, after all, Creator, you do exist up there in heaven. Your patience is long-suffering, but you strike hard. That encapsulates the complex relationship with faith and justice forged in the camps. His leadership, therefore, isn't about ideals. It's about fierce loyalty and a pragmatic willingness to subvert the rules for his men's survival.
Midday comes, the whistle blows, signaling the dinner break. And it's just a mad dash to the canteen.
Chaos.
This shanty made of boards, where the helpers guys who carry water or wash bowls get extra portions. Zhukov, ever shrewd, teams up with Pavlo.
His deputy.
And they skillfully maneuver to get 2 extra bowls of kasha. Through quick counting, strategic distribution, cunningly outwitting the cook. It's this constant battle of wits, isn't it? Even for a few extra ounces of food.
This elaborate system of theft and informal exchange, it just highlights how corruption and resourcefulness were woven into the very fabric of daily survival.
2 sides of the same coin.
Exactly. Even the allocation of food becomes this performance, this constant battle of wits. And Pavlo, in a quiet act of care, gives one of Zhukov's swiped bowls to Captain Buinovsky.
The former Navy man.
Yeah, who's still unaccustomed to the hard life of the Zeks, as the book says. Still struggling to adapt. This small, silent act of human connection amidst the scarcity, it underscores that survival isn't just individual effort. It's also about these informal networks of support, these tiny acts of kindness that can make all the difference.
And then there's Cesar,
Yeah, the intellectual.
the cultured
Oh,
intellectual. Shukov brings him his kasha to the office, where Cesar is deep in debate about Eisenstein's Ivan the Terrible. With X-123, this stringy old man serving a 20-year sentence, art isn't a matter of what, but of how, Cesar is arguing.
the eternal debate.
And X-123 counters, to hell with your how if it doesn't arouse any worthwhile feeling in me. That intellectual debate about Eisenstein, happening while men are literally fighting for scraps of food outside, it's such a powerful juxtaposition. What does that tell us about the human spirit's need for more than just physical survival, even in these extreme conditions?
It tells us that the human spirit seeks nourishment in many forms, doesn't it? This intellectual sparring, it provides this striking, almost surreal contrast to the raw struggle for physical survival going on just yards away.
Yeah.
It reminds us of the incredibly diverse backgrounds of the prisoners, and how for some, retaining that intellectual life, that cultural memory, is itself a subtle act of defiance, a way to hold on to their identity.
Keeping the mind alive.
Exactly. Shukov, ever pragmatic and observant, he doesn't interrupt, but he's listening. He also happens to find a small piece of hacksaw blade in the snow around them.
Another find.
And his immediate thought is, waste not, want not. A potent reminder that even a small piece of metal can be currency, or a vital tool for survival in this world. Everything has potential value. Hashtag afternoon work and evening return.
Okay, so back at the power station after the short dinner break, Shukov retrieves his concealed trowel again.
From its hiding place.
From the crack in the wall.
Yeah.
This tool he cleverly swiped and hides every single night. Now, the real work begins. Laying the cement blocks for the power station wall.
The mason's craft.
He and Kilgas work together, fast, efficiently. Shukov's mind is completely engaged now. Seeing only his wall, the narrator says. He's correcting errors made by previous masons, strategically planning each block's placement.
Finding flow, even there.
This intense focus, it creates a first wave of heat, then a second flush that actually dries their sweat. The biting cold of the Siberian winter seems to fade away, replaced by the rhythm of creation. There's a surprising warmth coming from within him.
And this section is absolutely central, I think, to understanding Shukov's profound resilience. Work, which is often presented, understandably, as a torment in the camp.
Right, forced labor.
Here becomes a surprising source of purpose, even pride for him. He treats the wall as if it was his own handiwork, pouring his skill and attention into it.
Taking ownership.
This act of performing good work in a system designed purely to exploit and dehumanize is, in itself, a powerful form of resistance. It's a way to reclaim a sliver of self-worth, of autonomy. It demonstrates that meaningful engagement, even under extreme duress, can provide a kind of internal warmth and satisfaction that transcends the physical discomfort.
It's a profound human truth, revealed in the most inhumane conditions imaginable.
Absolutely.
But their progress is abruptly interrupted by Dur,
Ah, the foremost.
the building foreman. He's a fellow convict, but described as a swine who treats other prisoners worse than dogs.
Power corrupts, even there.
He spots the roofing felt they used on the windows, a criminal offense in his eyes, and immediately threatens Tyrin, the squad leader, with a third term, adding years to his sentence.
A serious threat.
But Tyrin, a wolf himself, as Shukov knows, isn't easily intimidated. He throws down his trowel, and with Pavlo and Senka silently backing him up, he just stares Dur down. His words are quiet, but they carry immense weight.
What does he say?
He says, "Your time for giving terms has passed, you bastard. If you say one word, you bloodsucker, it'll be your last day on Earth."
Wow. Raw defiance.
Just raw collective defiance, a real stand.
And this is such a pivotal moment of direct confrontation. It reveals those intricate internal power dynamics within the camp that aren't always immediately obvious.
Yeah, prisoner versus prisoner.
Tyrin's uncharacteristic display of raw defiance, born of years of experience and that deep loyalty to his squad, is an act of collective protection. Dur, for all his perceived authority, is still just a Zek.
He knows the score.
He knows the score, and he backs down. His only recourse is this petty complaint about Shukov's thin layer of mortar. It just shows that even in the gulag, there are limits to authority sometimes, and solidarity, however fleeting, can create this powerful leverage against oppression. It's a moment of surprising, hard-won victory for the squad.
So the work continues. Frantic now, though, as the sun begins to set, casting this grayish appearance in a red haze.
Racing the clock.
They're on the fifth row of blocks, aiming to finish it, level it off before the whistle. The mortar carriers are snorting like winded horses, struggling under the load. Captain Bunovsky is gray in the face, his usual defiance now just replaced by sheer exhaustion.
The physical toll.
Shukov, his fingers are nipped by frost again. He's yelling for blocks to be placed directly on the wall to save time. Even Alyosha, the Baptist, is working tirelessly, his faith translating into action. If we have to work faster, then let's work faster. Anything you say.
The intensity of this final push, it really highlights the prisoner's unique and complex relationship with time and labor, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not like punching a clock.
No. They're driven not by abstract goals or some ideological fervor, but by the immediate visceral need to complete the task before that whistle blows, to secure their rations, and crucially, to avoid punishment. Shukov's observation, how time flew when you were working.
Right. Seems weird.
It's profoundly counterintuitive. Work is oppressive, forced labor. Yet, meaningful, focused engagement makes time pass in a way that mere suffering or just waiting does not. This is a crucial insight, I think, into human coping mechanisms. Even in the most brutal conditions, the act of creation, of doing something well, can provide a sense of agency and purpose.
The whistle finally blows. They race back towards the gates where a frustrating recount begins.
Ah, the count. Always the count.
A dark little Moldavian from another squad is missing. The entire column of Zeks, hundreds of men, chilled to the bone, famished, erupts in fury.
But who are they mad at?
Not the guards. Their collective rage is directed entirely at the missing man.
Or are they going through all this for that shit, that slimy little snake, that stinking worm? Even Shukov finds himself joining in, yelling, "Rap!" The sky is completely dark now, stars are out, signaling the frost is gathering strength, getting even colder.
And this collective rage is such a chilling example of how the system successfully externalized blame, fostered internal conflict among the oppressed.
Turned them against each other. Exactly. The Moldavian, who was supposedly a genuine spy, unlike the prison-made spies who were often just ex-POWs like Shukov himself, he becomes this convenient scapegoat for their prolonged suffering, for the extra freezing minutes standing there. The scene where he's eventually found hiding and is beaten by his own deputy squad leader and a Hungarian from his squad, it's stark. It illustrates the brutal cycle of violence perpetuated by prisoners on each other.
Yeah.
A direct, tragic consequence of the dehumanizing environment.
Yeah.
It raises that uncomfortable and profound question. Who truly is the Zek's main enemy in such a system? Is it the guards? Or ironically, is it another Zek?
And amidst all this chaos, this palpable fury, Cesar and Captain Bonovsky are still debating the nuances of Eisenstein's battleship Potemkin.
Keep going.
The baby carriage on the steps, the maggots in the meat. It's just an almost absurd juxtaposition, isn't it?
Right.
Intellectual pursuit right next to brutal physical reality. What does that persistence of intellectual life tell us about the human spirit's ability to maybe compartmentalize or seek refuge in the abstract?
It's a testament to the mind's resilience, I suppose. This ongoing conversation, especially among prisoners who came from more privileged backgrounds, it vividly demonstrates the persistence of intellectual life, of cultural memory, even in the deepest depths of the gulag.
A link to another world.
It's a subtle act of retaining one's identity, a connection to a world beyond the barbed wire. It offers this profound contrast to the immediate, visceral concerns of men like Shukov. It speaks to that human need for meaning, for connection, even when everything else is stripped away, and how individuals find their own forms of internal escape, really.
So the column finally shuffles back into the camp compound, and immediately it's a desperate race.
Every man for himself.
To be first to the mess hall, first for parcels, if any came, first everywhere. Shukov, ever shrewd, he immediately offers to hold a place in line for Cesar at the parcels office,
Playing the angles.
anticipating a reward for his service. His keen, experienced eyes quickly diagnose the contents of Cesar's package, even through the wrapping.
He knows what to look for.
Sausage, condensed milk, smoked fish, butter, lump sugar, cigarettes. A veritable feast. The kind of bounty that could sustain a man, relatively speaking, for weeks in there.
And this interaction, it just reveals that intricate social hierarchy again. The reciprocal relationships that define survival within the camp.
Give and take.
Cesar, through his parcels from the outside world, can offer tangible benefits, temporary comforts. Shukov, in turn, provides practical services, protection, camp know-how. Cesar's immediate generosity Giving Shukov his own supper stew and his 6 ounces of bread ration is a crucial exchange.
A fair trade.
This small act of sharing and its impact on Shukov's empty belly illustrates that survival isn't just about individual effort and cunning. It's also about these informal networks of support, these tiny acts of kindness that can mean the difference between, well, life and death sometimes.
But parcels aren't just for the recipient, are they? There's a harsh reality to them.
Yeah. The tax.
Easy come, easy go, as Shukov knows all too well. He understands the drill of the cuts. A portion goes to the guard who opens it, a bit for the squad leader,
Everyone gets a piece.
for the trustees, for the bath attendant, for the barber who shaves with paper, for the CED guy for keeping letters safe, maybe for the doctor for getting you a day off, even for your locker neighbor sometimes. It's just this parasitic system built on extortion at every single level.
Yeah.
Shukov's pragmatic philosophy sums it up perfectly, though. Leave envy to those who always think the radish in the other fellow's hand is bigger than yours.
And this detailed breakdown of the cuts, it just exposes the deep-seated corruption at every single level of the camp system, extending even to the most minute
The
transactions.
thing is clean.
It shows how the state-imposed scarcity created this thriving black market of favors and bribes. It turned prisoners against each other, yes, but also, ironically, formed certain bonds of dependency. Shukov's acceptance of this harsh reality, his clear-eyed understanding of how the system works without bitterness, without false hope, is absolutely key to his survival. He knows exactly how to navigate this treacherous landscape, focusing on what he can control, and recognizing that resentment is just a luxury he cannot afford.
So Shukov retrieves his little piece of hacksaw blade, the one he found earlier.
The potential knife?
Yeah, planning to wet it into a cobbler's knife. It'll take 4 days' work, he figures, if he sits over it mornings and evenings to make it just right. Another act of personal industry, of foresight.
Planning ahead.
He hides it carefully in his mitten. Meanwhile, Fedikov, the jackal, returns to the barracks. Beaten, bloody.
Caught again.
Caught over the bulls again, scrounging for leftovers, Shukov pities him. Not for the beating, necessarily, but for his poor chances of survival, he thinks. He wouldn't live to see the end of his stretch. His attitude was all wrong.
And the sharp contrast there between Shukov's strategic, long-term planning the hacksaw blade to make a useful knife and Fedikov's desperate, short-sighted scrounging for immediate gratification. It highlights these fundamentally different approaches to survival.
Yeah, completely different mindsets.
Fedikov's tragic fate suggests that while cunning is certainly necessary, a lack of self-control or an inability to truly navigate the unspoken complex rules of the camp can be fatal. Shukov's observation about Fedikov's attitude, it points directly to the critical psychological aspect of endurance. It's not just about physical strength. It's about mental fortitude and understanding the system's brutal logic.
Then the evening count arrives, and Snubnose, a young guard, comes specifically for Captain Bunovsky.
Oh no, they remembered.
Tyran, ever the protector, tries to buy time, making excuses about his men lacking pens and ink to sign forms about extra garments. But it's no use. Bunovsky is sentenced. 10 days in the guardhouse. The cells.
10 days hard.
The narrator gives us this chilling description. Brick walls, cement floor, no windows. A stove lit only occasionally just to melt the ice on the walls and create pools of water on the floor. Bare boards for sleeping. 9 ounces of bread a day. Hot stew only every 3rd day.
Starvation rations. Freezing.
10 days hard in the cells, the book says, could ruin your health for life. 15 days meant certain death. It's the ultimate threat hanging over everyone. A slow, agonizing demise.
And this segment just lays bare the ultimate terrifying threat in the camp. The punishment cells. It's a detailed, chilling account of what it means to be stripped of even the meager comforts of the barracks. To be pushed to the very brink of survival.
Bunovsky, the defiant captain.
He faces a brutal reality check. His initial hope that Volkovoy, the security chief, would forget, and his lack of preparation. It highlights his continued struggle to fully internalize the camp's cold, merciless logic.
Still hasn't quite learned.
It's a stark reminder of the physical and psychological torture inherent in the system, designed to break even the strongest of wills, to erase any lingering sense of self.
Shukov, now back in his bunk, he's reflecting after hiding Cesar's parcel safely. Later, Alyosha the Baptist, reading his hand-copied Bible nearby.
Still reading.
He asks Shukov why he doesn't pray more. Shukov replies with his characteristic pragmatism.
What's his take?
He says, prayers are like those appeals of ours. Either they don't get through or they're returned with rejected scrawled across them.
Bureaucracy even in heaven.
He says he believes in God, but not really in paradise or hell. He sees all that as stuff for fools. He tells a story about a rich, corrupt priest from his old village, contrasting that with Alyosha's sincere, almost childlike faith.
And this is such a profound discussion, isn't it? On spirituality, the human condition, right there in the gulag barracks. Alyosha's unwavering belief that prison actually offers time to think about your soul.
A strange kind of opportunity.
And his conviction that things that man puts a high price on are vile in the eyes of our Lord. It represents this kind of spiritual transcendence of the physical suffering. He finds peace in his faith, a different kind of freedom maybe.
While
Shukov, while respecting faith in its own way, remains stubbornly grounded in the tangible, the immediate. However much you pray doesn't shorten your stretch.
the sentence remains.
This fundamental difference in perspective, spiritual versus pragmatic, is a key element of the novel. It showcases these varied coping mechanisms for enduring the truly unimaginable.
Alyosha even suggests rejoicing in prison, because in freedom, he says, your last grain of faith will be choked with weeds.
Wow. Prison is protection for faith.
Shukov reflects on freedom then. He used to long for it every single night, counting the days left in his stretch. But now he realizes men like him wouldn't ever be allowed to return home anyway. They'd likely just be exiled somewhere else.
Another form of prison.
And whether his life would be any better there than here, who can tell? Freedom, for Shukov, had always meant home, but that was a future forever denied to him. What does this chilling reevaluation of freedom tell us about the long-term psychological impact of prolonged confinement?
It speaks to an insidious form of psychological conditioning, doesn't it? When the external world offers little promise and the inner world of just surviving day to day becomes all-encompassing, the very definition of liberation changes. It becomes tinged with this deep sense of resignation.
Yeah.
It forces you, the listener, to consider the true cost of freedom when all its traditional markers, home, family, choice, have been stripped away, and hope itself has been redefined by brutal experience. It's a profound commentary on how the system not only imprisoned bodies, but also warped minds and spirits, leaving individuals forever altered.
Then another second count is called Interrupting Shukov's Thoughts.
Always another count.
Cesar, ever grateful for Shukov hiding his precious parcel, gives him 2 biscuits and 2 lumps of sugar.
A bonus.
Shukov then shares one of the biscuits with Alyosha, a small, quiet act of kindness.
Passing it on.
He savors a tiny slice of sausage Cesar also gave him, a rare, incredible treat. Decides to save the rest for the morning. He finally gets into his bunk, gives thanks, not to God exactly, but just thanks for not being in the cells tonight, and drifts off to sleep.
And the final moments of the day are incredibly poignant. Shukov reflects on his day, counts his many strokes of luck, avoiding the cells, building that wall he actually enjoyed working on, swiping the extra kasha, earning that favor from Cesar, buying the tobacco, not falling properly ill.
All the little wins.
He concludes, a day without a dark cloud. Almost a happy day?
Almost happy in those conditions.
And then Solzhenitsyn delivers that chilling final tally, the punchline. There were 3,653 days like that in his stretch. From the first clang of the rail to the last clang of the rail. 3,653 days. The 3 extra days were for leap years. A single, almost happy day set against a backdrop of thousands just like it, or worse. It's a profound, almost devastating final thought. #TagTagCred outro.
So what does this all mean? Where does that leave us? We've walked through just a single brutal day in the life of Ivan Denisovich. We've witnessed the, I guess, profound resilience of the human spirit in the most inhumane conditions imaginable.
Yeah.
Solzhenitsyn, through Shukov's unblinking eyes, presents this unadorned, starkly disturbing picture, yet it's also filled with these incredible details of ingenuity, quiet courage, and just the sheer will to exist.
And the book's enduring power, I think, lies precisely in its meticulous, almost documentary-like portrayal of this daily grind.
It feels real.
It feels incredibly real. It's not about grand heroics or dramatic escapes, is it? It's about the sheer grinding effort to survive, to secure an extra portion of food, to perform a job with even a shred of pride, to outwit petty tyrants, to hold on to some sense of self. The rich narrative details, from the freezing temperatures that you can almost feel, to the communal bowl of putrid stew. They allow you to viscerally experience this existence, to truly feel the weight of each moment.
And what we learn from Shukov himself is profound, I think. He finds these strokes of luck, he finds an always happy day in circumstances that most of us can barely even begin to imagine.
Right, it recalibrates everything.
His definition of contentment, of a day without a dark cloud, is just such a powerful recalibration of what it means to live. It forces us, doesn't it? Forces you, the listener, to ask ourselves, what does it truly take for us to feel content? And how does the value of basic needs, of small mercies, shift when everything else, everything we take for granted, is stripped away?
And maybe the final thought is this. If Ivan Denisovich, in the deepest depths of the gulag, could find moments, however small, that made a day almost happy, what does that tell us about the human capacity for endurance, and perhaps about the true, fundamental sources of our own resilience? What would your almost happy day look like if all but the barest necessities, food, warmth, maybe a small act of defiance or connection, were taken from you?
Something to think about.
It's a question that echoes long after you finish the book, I think, urging us to reevaluate our own understanding of contentment and the incredible strength of the human spirit.